All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation. You know, we've been on this journey together, and this is a journey of self-transformation. This is not about weight loss. You guys are not here for weight loss. You guys are here to create the lives that you want, that future vision that you see of yourself, that life that is waiting on you. That is better than the one you have now, the one you're creating, the person you're becoming, the self you're creating. And I hope you understand that the tools that I am equipping you here with are the real tools of your transformation. These are, the tools that are going to allow you to go further and to achieve more than you otherwise would be able to just focusing on strategy, right? Strategy alone hasn't worked for you in the past, has it? Because many of my clients, when they show up, they tell me they've done everything else before. They've done every weight loss program out there. They've done every diet. They've tried all the hacks, and they haven't worked for them over the long term. About every 2-3 months, I hear, a client shows up and tells me that, I've lost 100 pounds twice. That is not as uncommon as you may think. So the tools that you now have in your toolbox, I really want you to understand that the mindset tools are the most important tools you've got, because your mindset controls your habits. And your habits control your results. So what's going to keep you moving forward? It's the mindset habits that will continue moving forward, that will help you to move forward, to help you to break on through to the other side. The mindset habits. And this is what these talks are about. These Monday Motivation talks are about creating the right mindset that allow you to move further faster, because strategy alone won't do it for you. We've got a brilliant strategy. It's simple. Eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time, planning your tomorrow today. It's a brilliant strategy, but strategy alone won't get you there. You've tried other strategies before, but you need more than strategy. You need a powerful story. That's your why. What helps you move forward when you don't feel like it? You need a powerful story. You need to revisit that why. You need to be able to deal with those emotional roadblocks when they show up, right? You're going to feel the frustration. You're going to feel anger. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel pain. You're going to feel struggle. You got to be able to work through all this. Otherwise, that pain becomes suffering. That suffering becomes hate. That hate becomes anger. And that anger takes you down to the dark side. Sounds familiar? Yes. Star Wars fan. Yeah, well, they got it from me. I didn't get it from them, right? So this is a process, guys, the process of creating the mindset that will allow you to move forward. So today I want to give you another tool in that toolbox. And the tool in that toolbox I want to give you today is, this concept of measuring your gain and not your gap. There's a wonderful book called The Gap and the Gain by Dr. Dan Sullivan. Pick it up on Amazon. It's a great book. And again, another book on personal development. And hey, everything helps, because this is what you're doing. This is personal development. You are creating your best self, and you're becoming better. I always say you don't get what you want, you get who you become. So you got to become something better. You got to become someone better, right? The process of creating long-term transformation is a process of getting healthier, getting fitter, getting stronger, getting better. And that's what I work with my clients on. Not just to lose weight. You got to get healthier. You got to get fitter. You got to get stronger. You got to get better. A healthier body is a better weight a better fat burning body. So you got to get healthy. That is how you're going to maintain your results over the long term. You got to get fitter. You got to get stronger. The fitter you get, your body is more efficient at burning fat. You got to get better. You got to get better at dealing with the circumstances of life, dealing with all the challenges that come your way. That's the process. So as I've been talking with clients, as I do, every week I have a lot of one-on-one calls. Every day I do maybe 10, 15 one-on-one calls with my clients. So that's a lot of people I'm talking to every week, right? In the process of talking to clients, I often see that a lot of you out there are focusing on the gap. You're focusing on how far you are yet to go, how far you've got to go. Oh, I've only lost 10 pounds in 3 months. Well, guess what? That 10 pounds has brought you closer to your goal of 30, 40 pounds, hasn't it? So you are much closer to your goal than you were just a few months ago. And if you were to start measuring your gain instead of measuring the gap, right? How much you have to go. When you focus on how much you have to go, when you focus on how far the journey is, well, that gets pretty demoralizing. That gets pretty demotivated. That doesn't motivate you. But when you focus on how far you've come, how much you've learned, how much your habits have changed, how your life is different, how your energy is different, how your body is feeling better, how your clothes are fitting you differently, how you're showing up in your life. When you start measuring these kinds of gains, I guarantee these are the things that are going to leave you wanting more. These are the things that will motivate you, because you will see that you are making progress. And progress comes in different shapes and sizes, right? You measure progress in a lot of different ways. The scale is only one way, but you got to learn to focus on those, what I call non-scale victories, the everyday victories. These are the things that add up. These are the things that multiply. These are the things that stack on top of each other. We call them habit stacking. When you change one habit, then you change another and another. Those simple, small habits stack up to become big habits. That's how we create transformation. So when you learn to measure the gain and not the gap, right? I guarantee you're going to have a deeper, richer experience of your journey. So the point is, guys, if happiness eludes you, no matter how much you have achieved, if happiness eludes you, no matter how much you have achieved, then guess what? Chances are you are measuring the gap and not the gain. You're not focusing on the gain. You're not focusing on all the little wins that you've achieved. You're not focusing on what's going well. And when you focus on what's going well, that builds positive emotions, and positive emotions broadens and builds your repertoire of possibilities. It opens your eyes to new possibilities, and it takes you further faster. When you focus on your small wins, when you start to measure the gain, how far you've come versus where you started, when you start measuring your current self against your former self, right? Think about it. Who are you now? A month into this process, how far have you come? How much have you learned? How much have you changed? Who have you become in this process? And if you haven't become anyone differently in this process, then I'd say you need to go back to the beginning and start focusing on what's important. What's important here is who you're becoming. It's not what you're getting. It's not the results you're getting, it's the person you're becoming. The person you're becoming is the reason why you will maintain the results you get over the long term. You can gain 100 pounds, but if you haven't become somebody different in that process, I guarantee you will regain all 100 pounds. That is not what you want. So you need to be focused on the person you're becoming. So you can start measuring your current self against your former self. You're measuring the gain, how far you have come, not how far you have to go. How far you have to go isn't going to motivate you. How far you've come, what you've learned, the person you've become and the person you're becoming, that is what motivates, right? So as you start to focus on the mindset habits that I'm sharing with you, you see, these are the things that allow you to be grateful for how far you've come. These are the things that help you make progress when times are tough. Because times are tough. Times will get tough. You will experience pain. You will have struggle. These are the things that make you better. These are the things that, no, they're not there to stop you. Your setbacks are not there to stop you. Your setbacks are there to set you up for your future success. And I hope you see that. That is measuring the gain. That your setbacks are there to set you up for your future success. Right? These are the things that will help you to bolster your motivation as you keep going through them. They'll bolster your confidence. And they are directly responsible for your future success. So don't spend your time running away from the pain. Don't spend your time running away from the difficulty. Don't spend your time, just being frustrated at the fact that the scale isn't moving. Don't spend your time running away from the valley of despair. You got to go through it. You can't run away from it. You got to go through it. And as you're going through it, you measure where you are versus where you've been. And that tells you, hey, I'm making progress here. You measure where you are. You measure how your habits have changed versus the old habits. You measure the person you've become versus that old person, that old self. And this is what keeps you moving forward because you know you're making progress. Whether the scale is changing or not, you know you're making progress because you're becoming someone different. You are different. Your life is different. And you'll see that around you. That will be reflected in your interaction with those around you. That will be reflected in how people interact with you. They'll tell you, hey, there's something different about you. Hey, you look differently. Hey, you walk differently. Hey, you show up differently. These are the non-scale victories that you're looking for. These are the non-scale victories that you're working towards because this is how you create transformation. You don't create transformation just by changing your body, just by changing your weight. You create transformation by changing your mindset, by changing who you are, by changing how you show up in life, by changing your interactions with others, by changing how you show up for yourself, by changing your commitment to yourself, by learning how to put yourself in your own equation, by learning that putting yourself first doesn't ever mean putting others last. I often say this, that the more you become, the more you have to offer, right? The better you become, the more you have to offer. For those of you who are the caretakers of others, right? You're the ones who are always there for others. But when you start learning how to be there for you, I guarantee that you're going to show up differently for those you're there for. I guarantee you're going to be better. I guarantee you're going to be stronger. I guarantee you're going to have more resilience. I guarantee that the pain of life is not going to affect you as deeply as it used to. I guarantee you're going to be better. I guarantee you are so much closer to that life that you've yearned for, that is just waiting for you on the other side, that you are reaching towards. This is how you create transformation, my friends. This is the journey you're on. This is a journey of transformation. This is not a weight loss journey. And if you think this is about weight loss, then you're very short-sighted. And I encourage you, I invite you to shift that mindset. I invite you to go back and listen to all of these Monday motivations I've done, because we've talked about using the difficulty. We've talked about the pain isn't the pain, how you deal with the pain, right, is the real issue. The problem isn't the problem. How you deal with the problem is the problem. We've talked about embracing the plateau. We've talked about making friends with the scale. We've talked about how to deal with difficult emotions. We've talked about all of these mindset habits. These are the tools for your toolbox that will allow you to keep moving forward. But more importantly, when you get there, these are the habits that will allow you to stay there. Because you know that there's no staying. You know that you have to keep moving forward. I've had a lot of clients who have lost a lot of weight over the past year. I've got dozens of clients who have lost anywhere from 40, 50, 60. I've got clients who have lost 80 pounds over the past year. I guarantee that they are completely different people right now. The majority of them are completely different people. Why? Because they're my clients. And the things that we focus on are the things that, the habits that allow you to focus on the person you are becoming. Because that is the only way you're going to create sustainable habits. I don't care what it is you're doing. You will never lose your weight and maintain it unless you become the person who can sustain big results. That is the thing I want you to get away from this. So it's not about the goal. It's about the person you are becoming. And in becoming that person, what's going to keep you motivated? What's going to keep you going when motivation fails? Because motivation fails. Discipline is the only thing that lasts. What's going to keep you focusing on that discipline and moving forward is learning to measure your gain, not the gap. Learning to measure your current self against your past self, your former self. This is how you continue on the path to creating that future self, that person you're becoming, that future vision, that life you see for yourself that is waiting for you on the other side. As you keep moving forward, as you keep moving one foot in front of the other through that valley of despair, that is where you're getting to. So never mind that you're still on that plateau. Never mind that, it's frustrating. Never mind that, the scale hasn't moved. Never mind that, yes, it's frustrating when that happens. Keep measuring the gain. What have you gained this week versus last week? How far have you come this week versus last week? How far have you come this month versus last month? If you can't see how far you've come, then I'd say you need to adopt new eyes. You need to reconnect to your support network, your coach, the others who are on this journey with you, because I'm sure they will see what you can't. But this is the point, folks. You got to be able to see how far you've come. And you've got to focus on that gain, how much you're gaining on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, because that is what's going to keep you motivated to keep going. That is what's going to keep you taking that next step. And until you take that next step, guess what? You will never get through that valley of despair. You will never get from that plateau unless you keep taking that next step, that next step. But when you do, I guarantee that you will get through it. I guarantee it. You will get through it. Because I hear it every single week from clients. Hey, coach, I'm no longer at a plateau. It's been 6 weeks, but finally, I'm no longer on that plateau. It's been 2 months, but finally, I'm no longer on that plateau. I guarantee you will get through it. By adopting the mindset that, yes, I know this is part of the process. And I know I'm moving forward. I know I'm getting better. I know I'm getting stronger. I'm getting fitter. I'm getting healthier. I know I'm getting better. This is the process. But what keeps you going is to learn to measure the gain, not the gap. I hope this is helpful.